So the first manifesting mistake I've made is following wounds and fears instead of positive signs of what I want. Now, this one's usually comes up when you have a lot of limiting beliefs that you're not even really aware of around a certain topic. So you might be a good manifester in certain areas of your life, maybe with career or money, but not with relationships, or vice versa. And because you're not really aware that these sort of hidden beliefs are there, you don't realize that you are getting signs, but they're not the right kind of signs. The problem was I was interpreting that situation as another example of why I couldn't get what I want, why things would never work out for me, why I would always be rejected, why I wasn't talented enough to make a living from my creativity, something like that. So I was using it to reinforce the negative belief rather than use it to expose the negative belief, and so that I could move forward. The second mistake I made was absorbing negative narratives or stories about life or about myself from other people. Now this one really screwed with my head, because when I went out to manifest something and you'd talk to other people and you'd hear things maybe in the news or see something on your social media feed, I was letting other people influence what I thought was possible for me. So for example, when I was looking for a new relationship, I might listen to people saying, oh my God, it's so hard to find someone when you're, in your 30s. Like there's no good people out there, or everyone's wounded. Very, very negative things that made me feel like it was going to be hard to manifest what I want. And for some reason I had a tendency, and I think I still do, to absorb that negativity of other people and doubt my own sense of like, no, this is possible for me. And I know I've had it with other things too, about like I'm writing a book at the moment and there's a lot of negative ideas around. It's like very hard to get a publishing deal, and you have to be the best of the best of the best of the best. You have to be almost like the most talented person out there. And a lot of things that are basically telling me it's never going to happen. But I know, because I've been here before with other issues, that I just have a tendency to doubt myself and doubt what I know is true for me. And so it's something to be really cautious of, about who you're sharing your goals with, or even just like what you're picking up randomly. You're going to actually get exposed to people that are well-meaning, that are trying to teach you about the realities of the real world. But if you're absorbing that negativity and letting that make you feel like it's less likely that you're going to achieve what you want, that's really going to make it harder to manifest, because you're going to see evidence everywhere that they're right. You're going to lose hope. Your energy levels are going to drop. You're not going to be open to actually receiving that thing that you want. The third mistake I made was I got stuck into this idea that the world, life is a scarce, limited place that's basically a competition, but it's very hard to manifest from that place. In 2009, around the time of the global economic crisis, and I was told by people that I'm never going to get a job now. And I ended up getting the job, and what was interesting, when I actually arrived there, they'd also given the same job to someone else. So they'd actually had someone in mind for the job before I applied. And so my boss actually applied for funding to get 2 positions out of 1. And to me, that was so good for me, because I was really worried that if I manifest something, I'm taking away an opportunity from someone else. And I really didn't like that idea. And so to me, this was such an amazing piece of evidence that there is abundance out there. And that was really cool. But I notice I can still sometimes get stuck in scarcity about other things, like, wanting to publish a book. I'm still sometimes influenced by people saying it's a very competitive environment, and this idea that if I get a deal, someone else won't, and there'll probably be someone else better than me that will get it. So it's not about like we getting everything we want, but just trusting that there's enough abundance that the right opportunities can go to the people that it's going to most serve them. The fourth mistake I made was following well-meaning but bad advice from other people. And I tell you, especially when I was single and looking for love, like I got a lot of well-meaning advice that sounds logically correct, but was actually terrible and didn't work and actually steered me in the wrong direction. And some of it I'm glad I just ignored. Some of it I was strong enough to go, someone told me I wouldn't find a partner in Bali, where I was living at the time, that I'd have to move back to Australia. And luckily I ignored that person. And that person was actually a relationship expert that was on a TV show. So someone that knows a lot about love and relationships. But I chose to ignore that person because I knew like I can find love anywhere. And if I feel like I'm meant to be in Bali right now, then that person will find me there. He might not be there right now, but he'll find me. And interestingly enough, he did. Like, he was someone that would visit regularly, and we met on one of his holidays. And ironically, we were both living in Australia now together, but I was just positive that if I felt I was in the right place for myself, that I could attract love anywhere. But you can see how that was a belief that was positive and served me. But someone well-meaning might go, well, you've been in Bali for a few years, you're struggling with the kind of men that live there that maybe don't have the same values or desires for a relationship as you. Maybe go somewhere else. Like, it makes so much sense logically, but it wasn't the right choice for me. And I think if I'd followed that, I'd still be sort of desperately looking around going, what am I doing wrong? So it's really important to stick to your guns. Like, it's, getting advice of other people can be useful at times, but it's really like your intuition guiding you about what you feel is right for you. And don't let someone else that's found what you want tell you what you need to do, because their path to manifesting something will be different to yours. So even if there's someone you admire and look up to, it doesn't necessarily mean they have the answers for you. So it's really important to have that kind of inner compass guiding you. The fifth mistake I've made in manifesting was misinterpreting the meaning of signs and taking them as like literal things, instead of this idea that a sign is like a breadcrumb and you're a little bird and you see the breadcrumb and you take the breadcrumb and you're following a path to what you want. That I would see one breadcrumb and think, this is it. This is my partner. This is my dream business. This is it. And so I think that's something that's very easy to do, and it's difficult to navigate without getting disappointed, because some of those breadcrumbs feel like major disappointments because you thought it was meant to be something that you really wanted, and it was really just pushing you in a direction that would eventually take you to what you want. So that was actually a hard lesson that I learned, that especially some of the big things you're trying to manifest, I feel like there's a lot more breadcrumbs on the way sometimes, and you can start to almost feel like a fool for noticing the breadcrumbs and for following them because, oh, it wasn't what you thought. But you've just got to keep going and trust the process and trust that it's going to lead you on an interesting path, and that you're not a fool for hoping that first breadcrumb was going to be it, because we all do. We all want everything to manifest straight away, and it's not until hindsight that we look back and we see, actually, it was good that didn't manifest straight away. Like, for example, it was good it took me 5 years to meet my current partner, because I did all these other things that I might not have done if I'd met him earlier, and they were just as important to my life path and my purpose and my sense of well-being as meeting him has been. Like, it was important that those things happened first. So I needed a lot of breadcrumbs for that particular manifestation. And it's almost like just trusting that someone up there, whether it's your higher self or the universe, actually knows what you need sometimes better than you know yourself. And the sixth, like the final mistake I made while manifesting, was dismissing red flags in favor of metaphysical signs. So when you get this little breadcrumb and you see like a symbol of what you want, those are what I call metaphysical signs, but there are also like red flags, which are almost like real world signs, if you like, that someone's going to be trouble, for example, or that maybe something that seemed like a good relationship or a good business partner is turning bad in some way. But because we had the metaphysical sign that person or opportunity was the right one for us, we cling on to that situation and we dismiss the real world signs. Why? Because I saw those metaphysical signs, so I'm believing this is the right thing for me. Metaphysical signs are like the breadcrumbs, so they're not necessarily the loaf of bread at the end. So sometimes a breadcrumb will take you into a like bad, challenging situation because there's something you're supposed to learn along the way. And so once the red flag comes, you need to prioritize that as the most important. So you might recognize yourself in some of those mistakes. I hope there's some lessons there that you can pick out, accepting that you're going to make mistakes. And if you can kind of look back and laugh at yourself and not take it too seriously, then you're going to have you're going on the path anyway. You might as well enjoy the path as you walk down it.